The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Hi, it's Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, co-founder of Optavia and author of the Habits Health Transformational System. Well, this is a great time for you. You're on element 26, the last element. And as you kind of started to learn in element 25, these last two elements will extend beyond the year period that it's probably taken you to reach this point. What's great about that over this last year, you've been learning all the fundamentals of the 6 macro habits to really equip you with the new behaviors that are necessary to live optimally healthy and to have great well-being. So the 26th one is the element UltraHealth, living life longer full out. Now, I can't guarantee that you'll live longer, but I can tell you by taking these scientifically proven concepts that have been studied extensively, especially in primates, we know that they're living longer in a healthier state, and we can't translate that into humans yet. But what I do know is if you actually adapt these practices, the ultimate, like the graduate course in the Habits of Health, you will be healthier for a longer period of time because you're optimizing your body's conditions for operating and also your mind. So we're going to be focusing a lot on the mind in this element. Okay, so let's get started. The idea is outline some of the key habits of health, define the progressive plan for UltraHealth, and explore how you can optimize your brain health. All three of these are important. Also in element 26, it's very important that you're reading along and using my Dr. A's Habits of Health, which has 2 amazing chapters, 3.2 and 3.3 through 4, which really tell you more details and give you the research and science behind UltraHealth, which is what we're going to talk about now. So let me put the PowerPoint on to kind of follow along and give us some guidance. All right, here we go. Let me put this on and move a little bit up and put it full screen for you. There you go. Okay, so again, I'm the co-founder and author of this system, and hopefully it's helped you, and I'm very excited about talking to you today. So we just talked about this, but we want to talk about some of the key habits of UltraHealth. There's 3 main areas that we're going to focus on. Dietary optimization, actually moving more and actually creating the habits of healthy motion at a more extensive level where we're really helping your fitness, your cardiovascular fitness. And then the third is brain optimization, both the nutritional part as well as how you can exercise your brain to have great health. So let's really read this phrase because I really like this. Adopting a lifestyle that supports optimal health is by far the biggest factor in longevity. Lots of research to support this. What this means is that the habits of health, which are all about moving forward on the health continuum, are a great way to position yourself for a long and healthy life. So what I mean by that is if you've spent the time over the last year and really learned the habits of health, you've used your app to start installing everything as simple as eating every 3 hours and drinking your water. You've used now the Lifebook to install the other macro habits, and you're now reaching a healthy weight. You're moving more, you're sleeping better, you're handling stress, you're learning how to maintain and support your emotions and your mind, and a healthy mind, and you're also creating an environment around you that's successful. In other words, you're incorporating all 6. You are now in great position to learn about UltraHealth. Now, I can tell you, if you haven't done that, then you need to go back and make sure you're doing those first, because UltraHealth isn't possible. The continuum, it's like trying to do double black diamonds in skiing when you're still learning how to pizza pie on a bunny slope. You just can't do it. And the second part is if you're doing a lot of things that are unhealthy still, or some things that are unhealthy, then answer is you won't be ultra healthy. So we'll talk more about that. Okay. So basically, as I mentioned, the progressive plan is applying the Habits Health Transformational System, which we just talked about, reaching and maintaining optimal health, which includes a healthy weight and below and beyond, and add ultra health practices as an additional level of vigilance and focus on increasing your resilience to aging and disease. We know as we get older, our body is more susceptible. Now, I like this chart because this chart really shows you the potential. You know, on average, men don't usually live over 75 years of age, and women don't live usually over 80 years of age. This is taken from the insurance actuaries, which is just the facts of life. So you can deny it, or you can understand that unfortunately, and especially in that last year or two, we become sick. And that's where our medical costs, our suffering, our time going to doctors, all that, hospitalization, ER visit, all that goes up, surgeries, more medicines. And so we'd love to avoid that. And so what I can tell you is by learning the habits health and really applying and becoming them, we know that we can optimize your health and potentially live up to, you know, as you can see here, 20 years longer. Now, ultra health, which is a area that's we're exploring, we don't have studies in humans yet because basically we haven't been studying it that long. But we know in primates, which have a shorter lifespan, that we've been able to allow them to be healthier and live longer. And the studies on longevity are coming in more and more each year. So the outlook looks good. But again, I need to put the caveat that I can't predict how long. Obviously, 1.1% is actually luck. You know, you can get hit by a car or catch some unusual virus. So we can't predict. But we do know this. We know that if you actually learn the behaviors we're going to be talking about here, the chances are great that you're going to live healthier for a longer period of time. So that's pretty encouraging. So your Ultra Health plan, as I mentioned earlier, are three components: dietary optimization, movement enhancement, and brain health optimization. And I'm going to talk about each one of these. So first, reaching a state of ultra health. Let's go back to this one for a moment. Dietary optimization. One of the great things, and there's great research to support in the Habits of Health itself, where you learn that we're actually going to reduce beyond where you were when you planned for optimal health. We're going to reduce your calories about 15%. And we know this. We know that when many mammals and different life forms that are thin but healthy and have optimized their diet and are eating healthy, they have a tendency or proclivity to live longer. So those things include 15% reduction in your total calories, which you'll read about in both Dr. A's Habits of Health, as well as part of it is in the Life book in this element. The second part is making sure we're eating no processed food, no ultra processed food. We're eating low glycemic food. We're eating healthy fats and oils such as olive oil, flaxseed, things that are really healthy for you. The second part, the movement enhancement. We're actually, now that you're lean and you've basically created a healthy weight and you put on muscle and you're optimizing your cardiovascular, this is taking the two components of both movement and resistance training to the next level, where we're making you stronger yet leaner and more optimal. And then the third is brain health optimization, which I'll talk a little more about. Okay, so Ultra Health itself by measurement is a BMI of 21 to 24.9. Remember, 24.9 or less is considered optimal, an optimal BMI with a waist circumference that goes along with that. Body fat about 12% for males and about 17 to 22% for females would be the goal of Ultra Health. And then the C-reactive protein, HS, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, less than 0.5. So those are all the endpoints of reaching Ultra Health. Now, one of the other parts I want to talk about is also the community part. And the community part is that by basically taking these 6 macro habits and coming in to our community, you have the opportunity to live longer in a healthier state. And as I mentioned in the the epilogue, is that Ingela Treatler, which is right beyond element 26, it's actually the end before I have my invitation for you to join us potentially as a coach, talks about the rite of passage that people that from the National Weight Control Registry, this is one of the first things when I started almost 2 decades ago designing this, is that those that had lost at least 60 pounds and kept it off, in other words, they had made a long-term change in their health. They also, many of them had actually changed what they did for a living. They had gone on from their professions to a lower stress, more fulfilling by becoming coaches, trainers, teachers, people that were helping other people, which is interesting. She called it the rite of passage, and I discussed this at the end of the last element as well as in the book. And what we find is that when we're working with others that have meaning and purpose, it seems like our coaches seem to have a higher success rate than those that don't. So I don't know if coaching's for you, but in the last element, I basically, right past the last element and the epilogue, which talks about what I'm talking about now, about the rite of passage, there's actually an invitation for you. So, if in your surroundings, your healthy surroundings, you love what you do, it brings you satisfaction, it allows you to have the success and organize your life around what matters most, then that's great. But if it isn't, our invitation to you is to take a look at, what coaching is. You may have already become a coach by now, but it's a pretty amazing profession. I know that in my evolution, in my journey, going from a traditional physician running a very busy critical care unit to now being a physician that's helping create optimal health and well-being, it's made all the difference, and it's allowed me to do things I couldn't do before. I can heli ski. I couldn't do that 10 years ago. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm at a healthier weight. I'm active. I'm able to travel. I have time. I sleep well. I'm very, very little stressed, and I continue to work on that, which you learned about in the last few elements. So anyway, I just wanted to basically offer you the invitation to think about it, because who knows, you might really enjoy coaching as well. So again, when we finish this element, I want you to go back and answer these 3 questions. What does this element mean to you right now? Second, what does this element give you the opportunity to reflect on? And third, what actions are you going to take as a result of this element? So think about those, and then your coach will talk to you about those as well. But to reflect on, is there anything more you can do to really increase your capacity to reach your full human capacity or potential? So with that, we have the habitsofhealth.site as a reference. We also have the Optavia YouTube playlist where you can see each one of these elements where I do recordings on them. And I would love you to make sure you're using that. Talk to your coach or go to your Optavia website to take a look. For now, it's Dr. Wayne Anderson wishing you optimal health and well-being. And now, hopefully, you'll use UltraHealth to help you live longer in a healthier state for you, your family, and your friends. God bless. See you.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.